This is the ultimate Android versus iOS video you are ever going to need. After watching this, you're going to make a decision on if you want an Android or you want an iOS phone. But before I continue, I'm going to be a little biased because I've been an Android user for the past 8-10 years, right? I've moved from Samsung and I'm using a Pixel 8 Pro at the moment. And on my right hand for the iOS, we are going to be using the iPhone 14 Pro Max, right? So on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, we have the iOS 18, and for the Android, we have the Android 15. So I will be doing a versus based on daily activities, on how every one of us uses our phone, from the lock screen to the apps to the notifications to the charts to your galleries to editing down to visual intelligence and ecosystem. Don't worry, I've got you. Let's go. On our left, we have the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and on the right, we have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. First thing first is the lock screen. Android has done this thing where you can, have your time, dates, and anything you want on your lock screen while your phone is off. And the same thing for your iPhone 14 Pro Max, or basically the iOS 18. And when you want to unlock your phone, for the Android, we have the option of the thumbprint and then the facial recognition, but for the iPhone, we have the facial recognition. Now, first things first, for the lock screen, when you hold the lock screen, you can customize on your Android, right? But you need to unlock your phone, and to customize, you basically have the option to change your colors, to change your wallpapers, to change the font size or the font type for your phone, or basically for your lock screen, and you can put your shortcuts, right? It's basically amazing, it's nice, and you can have more lock screen privacy, basically, if you want other things on your Android. For the iPhone, right, it has the option for you to select former or previous pictures you've used as your lock screen, or basically your wallpaper, and this option is really nice. I really like this option. Basically, you can just choose what you want, and it also has a customize button, and in customizing you can decide to customize both your lock screen and your home screen. And in customizing your lock screen, let's say we are done with this and you want to just customize your home screen. In customizing your home screen, you can add widgets to your home screen, right, or to your lock screen. Basically, you can add your time, you can basically add anything that requires a what do you call it, a widget. I would add the TikTok app here, right, and you can basically pinch crop. You can decide to choose a different type of effect for your lock screen, which is nice. But I will give it to the Android, because when you click more wallpapers, you can see more things for as regards wallpapers. For the Android, you can also, basically for Pixel, you can also have your AI wallpaper, meaning you can create the kind of wallpaper you actually want on your lock screen. Though it comes with some prompts, right? A sorry bicycle, like you can tell the AI to inspire you, and it's going to create something different for you, right? It gives you more options available for your lock screen, but this is not me, right? And you can also check on your photos. Like basically, you have more variations as regards your wallpaper on your Android, but for the lock screen, it's majorly your photos or any other thing. Majorly, it's actually your photos or basically the wallpapers that came with the phone. But for this feature where they give you the option to select other wallpapers or lock screen you've actually had in the past, I give it to the iPhone. Now, moving on to when you unlock your phone. When you unlock your phone, for the iOS, you are greeted with all the apps that are on your phone. One thing I really like about iOS is the way the apps are graded, or the way the apps are on your phone when you open your phone. It gives you the opportunity to just search for the app you're looking for, and if you're the kind of person that likes to organize your apps, you can decide to organize it separately. And recently added socials, utilities, but you can't necessarily move the apps around. Oh, you can actually, but you can't move it. Yeah, this is really nice. Actually, I never knew this, but this is really nice. Like I said, I'm an Android biased user, but this is really nice that you can move your apps around. And one thing I also like is the fact that you can search
for whichever app you're looking for. Someone like me, I don't like going around looking for apps. All I need to do is just click this, search for the app I'm looking for, and you are good to go. And then based on the kind of apps you use regularly, it gives you the 4 selections of the apps that you normally use on your search bar. Basically, this is really nice as regards the lock screen, or the apps for iOS. Yeah. Now for Android, what makes it more interesting, which I really like Android for, or basically for the Pixel, is for the apps that you regularly use, you find 4 of them down below here. Majorly the apps you open more, and here when you scroll up, basically, don't mind the fact I've been playing Call of Duty. That's just by the way. And because you have an array of apps, when you swipe up, you basically see all the apps on your Android. This is a little frustrating for me because when I'm looking for an app, I have to scroll all the way down to look for an app. I prefer the side way kind of searching for my apps on the iOS as opposed to swiping and looking for an app. But that is by the way, because you can also still search. One thing I really like about the iOS is my search bar is not all the way up. It is down here. I can easily just click it and search for what I want to search for. But for Android, I actually have to go up. This is a little frustrating, but it is fine, because most of the apps I usually go to, because there's something called muscle memory. It's easy for you to just scroll and be like, oh, I'm going to your bank app, which is a Monzo app or Netflix or something. But if you're a new user and you're trying to get used to this, it might be a little frustrating because you have to scroll all the way down to look for an app. But for the iOS, you have the apps, right? You can search for it, which is also good. But one thing I'm forgetting to mention is the fact that for the Android, you can actually bring the apps you majorly use on your home screen instead of the app screen, right? This is the app screen, but for the home screen, you can have all the apps you want to use. Like for me now, I know where my Gmail is, my Photos app is, and I've arranged this specifically the way I want to have it arranged. But for the iOS, it comes pre-arranged, right? You have to move things around. But for the Android, you have the opportunity to move it as much as you want. And if you are the kind of person that wants to always use more than one app, like for instance, you want to open YouTube and your Google Chrome, you have the opportunity to do that, right? This is not a feature that is available on the iOS, which is a little frustrating because if you're the kind of person that wants to probably do, oh, I want to do shopping while I'm watching YouTube, you can be like, oh, I'm going to open my Asda app, right? Open my Asda app, and you can, split the screen. And in splitting the screen, you can choose, you want to open your Twitter or your X app together. Basically, checking what's going on Twitter while doing your shopping, which is a really good feature. But for iOS, that has not been made possible. So as regards app, I will give it to the Android as opposed to the iOS. Let's say I want to clear all my apps, right? My phone is hanging and I'm like, oh, I need to clear my apps so that my phone doesn't hang as much, right? The option to clear your apps is at the end for this particular Android, but for iOS, it's not there. You have to manually swipe up everything. But as opposed to my Android, I could just easily clear all and we are good to go, right? But that is dependent on how you want to use your phone. Let's talk about the widgets, right? For your Android, you have widgets. For your iOS, you can click your edits. By the time you hold your screen, you click your edit. You can always add widgets, right? Click on whichever widget you want and probably just put it on your screen, right? You can choose which size of widgets you want. I want to add this particular one. I'm not sure you can move it into, you can actually move it into another page, which is really nice, right? This is something new that I never knew about the iOS. But for your Android, it's been there. Let's go to City Mapper for this particular phone. Oh, apparently City Mapper is not here. So let's use my Fit app. I can always choose this particular one, right? Add it and you can move it anywhere you want it. You can always resize it and move it around. But for iOS, I'm not sure you can resize it. You can just use the particular frame or the particular size as given to you and move it around. You can change the different sizes of widgets that is being given to you, but you cannot resize that particular widget. But as regards to Android, you can decide that, oh, I want to make this smaller or wider, basically. Does that make sense? So that is as regards your lock screen, or basically your home screen. Now let's talk notifications. Now when you have your phone, you always have notifications. One thing that has probably been a little frustrating since I tried using this iOS is, if I want to check my notification, I have to swipe from the left side of my screen. And my notification center basically puts what is the priority on the top, or the particular notification that just came in on the top and wasn't actually customized, or basically put all the notifications in one particular place. So if I have my Instagram notifications, you can see I have some Instagram notifications at the top, some in the middle, some at the bottom, and it is so much, right? It is a little frustrating. But for your Android, all you need to do is swipe from any part, right? And you have your notifications. You can see my WhatsApp here, my WhatsApp business, Telegram, Instagram, right? Other apps, all the notifications are put in a particular location for you. But for your iOS, it's not collated that way. One more thing I actually kind of appreciate as regards the notification bar in your Android is you can reply conversations from your notification. From one of the videos I probably saw, they mentioned that you cannot do that on your iOS. But after trying it out by myself, I've been able to see that if I want to reply chats on my iOS, all I need to do is come to the particular chat, hold it, right, and then I can reply the chat from my notification bar. Still talking about chats, let's say you are having a conversation. For Android, what makes it very much interesting is you always have a suggested replies, right? You can always reply based on suggestions. You can mark as read, you can reply. And for your notifications, but for both phones, I've noticed that you can always mute it. You can place as priority, which is the same thing for your iOS, right? I can always click it, swipe to the right, click options, decide I want to mute for 1 hour, mute for the day. These are things that each one of us uses on a daily to day activity. Let's say, for instance, I type thank you, right? You will always see emoji suggestions to actually accentuate or basically further what you're talking about. Now, for instance, let's say I say thank you on an iOS, right? You actually also have emoji suggestions. This is different from what some people say, right? For emojis, you can always click more on emojis. Same for both typing platforms, for the iOS and for the Android. What makes the Android much more interesting is you have other features when you have your keyboard. You have your clipboard, which for your Android, it's usually there for an hour, or you can always pin replies or pin chats or pin clipboards, right? And you can always have a voice to text option. Say, for instance, as I'm talking, the phone is going to listen to my conversation and is going to type it down. As I'm speaking, the Android is actually picking my voice, writing it down properly. But for this particular iOS, it is lagging. You can see the difference. I'll give this to the Android over the iOS. I'm going to send the chats and stop the recording. Apart from that, you can get GIFs, you can get settings, which basically you want to set up your keyboard. You can get stickers, you can get emojis, and you can get other things, which is your theme, your text, your next language. Probably you're trying to convert a language from English to another language. You can have your translates, right? You can have your scan text, your undo, floating. This makes your Android experience much more interesting as opposed to this. This is very simple. This is basically for anyone who just wants to have their phone and probably just text. But if you want more things, which I always do sometimes, I want to probably auto translate something I'm saying. I want to paste from my clipboard. I have it available on my Android. That is that as regards chatting. Apparently, this is quite good actually. I was the one that wasn't working on it properly. And it's picking it up. Well, it's not as good. Sorry. As regards chatting or basically emojis, there's something called Memoji on your iOS, which is customized to only your iOS. But for Android, I haven't actually seen this particular feature yet. Right? You can decide to create a sticker, but I've not seen the opportunity to create Memojis as good as an iOS is going to do it. So that is that as regards chatting. Now let's go to everybody's favorite platform, which is what? The Photos folder. I am going to be as straightforward as possible. Now, when you come into your Android Photos folder, you have the pictures you probably took days before, right? But for your iOS, you have all the pictures basically on your screen, and you also have the opportunity to customize your photos album based on what you want. You probably just want albums, your people, you want memories, trips, media, right? You get the opportunity to customize this particular part of your album and basically have those particular set of images first on your screen, or basically after your images are on your screen, right? But for your for your photos on your Android phone, majorly this particular brand, which is your Google Pixel, it has a Google Photos app which has all your photos, right? You can go to collections and basically see you can basically search for people, right? Look for them on your phone. You can have your pictures on your phone based on your cameras, your screenshots, your pictures, your Instagram. Basically, it organizes your images for you on your phone. And then because the cloud storage system is also integrated on your phone or on the app, you can basically see the apps you have uploaded on your cloud. And for me in particular, I have tried to organize my images when I upload on my cloud, so you will see them organized on my album.
For iCloud, for you to be able to see the images you've actually uploaded, they are actually in your gallery or your Photos app. So you don't necessarily have to go and look for your images in your iCloud or in another storage compartment.
One thing that separates the Google Photos experience from the iOS is the opportunity to edit your pictures or basically perform more things when you have your pictures on your phone. Now let's say I want to edit this particular image, and let's say I want to remove the people in my background. Because of the AI, there is an opportunity to erase people, right? What it's going to do is it's going to find suggestions, and whatever it shows me as a suggestion, it is going to remove them from me. Now look at the particular image that I just did. It has removed everyone in my background. This feature is not available on the iOS, right? Which is a bummer. I'm sorry. Now let's say I have a particular video on my phone. I'm going to reset this because I don't know why it's doing this. Done. I'm going to reset this. Go back. Let's say I have this particular video on my phone, right? What thing you can do as regards editing is you can always stabilize, enhance, audio eraser. Basically choose what you want. It's going to identify the sounds in the particular video, and it's going to isolate either the noise or the voice, right? Speaker 1, 2, 3, meaning we have more than one speaker in this particular video. It can also choose the noise and probably reduce the noise to the lowest, right? Which is a good thing. And you can always, I'm just going to discard all the editing I'm doing on this particular video because I'm not choosing to edit it at the moment. You can enhance the video, you can speed it up. One thing I also noticed is you have effects and filters, you have markups, you have presets. Presets basically allows you cuts, add slow-mo, and you can also track subjects in your video. Basically, it basically gives you a mini video editor in your Photos app. But here you don't have that many features. I'm going to go to a particular video so we are not biased, right? Let's say we have this video, right, and say I want to edit it. What I've noticed is you only have the option of reducing the duration of the video, right? You can adjust, which is normal thing you are seeing here. You have filters and you have crop. Apart from that, I've not seen any other thing you can do in your Photos app on your iOS as opposed to your Android. Now, this is dependent on you. If you're like me, you don't want to download a particular app to edit, or you want to do basic editing on your phone, just use what you have on your Photos app in your Android. Now, thank you. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things. I hope you are seeing the different experiences for both phones. We have memories here. You also have memories here. You have the opportunity to organize your pictures according to dates, which is also the same thing here. All months, years. It's all depending on how you want to organize your particular photo album. But as regards features and the ability to do more with your Photos album, I'm going to give it to the Photos album or the Photos app on the Android. So let's talk about virtual assistants as regards Android and your iOS. Hey Google, I'm planning to make food for my wife. Can you suggest things that you think would make sense?
Of course. To give you the best suggestions, could you tell me a little more about what you and your wife enjoy?
Okay.
For example,
Hold
what
on.
kind of cuisines do you both generally like?
Now,
it's
one thing I also noticed is you can also have conversations with Google. So, hey Google, let's have a conversation, and let's say.
Sounds good. Let's have a conversation. And let's say what? I'm ready for your opening thought or question. What's on your mind?
So to have more conversations with Google, all I need to do is click this, right? It's going to go on basically Gemini, Google Live, and basically I can have conversations with Google. Hey Google, how are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm really enjoying our conversation so far.
Yeah,
what about you? Anything exciting happening in your world?
So that is good, right? One thing else you can also do is you can also have your camera on to basically search for things, right? You can just click on this and tell Google to, you can show.
That's a cool setup with your laptop.
Right, it's going to show you, it's going to have a conversation and basically tell you more about what you are seeing on your screen. So this is a feature on your Android, right? You can share your screen to basically show more on what you are going to talk about, or what you want Google to basically show you more or tell you more about, right? So I'm going to stop this. Now for your iOS, because both phones have what we call voice recognition, if I say, hey Siri, it's not going to answer me because this is not my phone. But if my babe says, hey Siri, and probably tries to have a conversation with Siri, let's see how it goes.
Hey Siri, let's have a conversation. Would you like to go to the market with me? Sorry, I don't understand.
So basically what you can see on your screen is, as regards having conversations or basically having intelligent conversations, I'm not going to give it to the iOS, I'm going to give it to the Android, because the AI system on your Google or your Pixel has been integrated so much and has been worked on so much as opposed to Siri on this. But if you give Siri basic tasks to do, say for example to play music or to probably call someone, it is going to do it seamlessly.
Hey Siri, play music.
Okay, thank you for that. But I can also do the same on Google. Hey Google, play music on Spotify.
Playing on Spotify.
Right, it is going to also do the same thing easily. So let's say for example, hey Google, set a timer for tomorrow, I want to go jogging. Sorry, hey Google, set a timer for tomorrow, I want to go jogging.
Sure, for how long?
Say for 10 minutes.
Okay, I've set a 10-minute timer for tomorrow, labeled jogging.
Hey Siri, set a reminder or an alarm for tomorrow to go jogging for 10 minutes.
So what you can see for both phones is you get the opportunity to have virtual assistants on both iOS and Android. But as regards having conversation, having intelligent conversations, probably trying to cook something for your wife, I'll give it to the Google Pixel because you can have conversations as opposed to the iOS. Now moving on to visual intelligence, right? One thing that separates the Google or the Android from the iOS is the ability to search for things easily. So let's say I'm in my photos album and I want to search for something, right? One thing that has made it easy on your Android is you can circle a particular part, right, and then it shows you more about that particular thing, right? For iOS, I have never actually tried doing that before, right? I've never tried to search for something, but I've noticed that if you want to have, or you want to find something as regards visuals on your phone, right, you will see it better on your Android as opposed to your iOS. For iOS, you will need to go to your Safari or your Google Chrome, and then you use the Google Lens, which is automatically integrated into your photos or your phone on your Android, right? If I go to Google Lens here, right, it's basically going to search for what I want, right, based on the particular selection I make, right? If I don't want that, right, and let's say I am on Instagram, I can just click this particular part and then circle around something, right? It's basically going to show you more on that particular image. So I don't need to go as far as going to my photos album or making a screenshot. If I want to exit the app and I do this, I can take a screenshot, I can select this particular part of the image, right, and share with whoever I want to share it with, right, which is a good thing for your Android. So basically, as regards visual intelligence, I will give it more to the Android as opposed to the iOS. Even down to if I want to search things from the home screen, I can just click this. It takes me to my Google Lens and I say search with Google Lens. And let's say I take my phone, I point it to something in particular. Let's say I point it to this mic and I click it. It is going to show me more as regards the Joby mic because that's what I'm using to record. I hope you've been able to see that visual intelligence, I'll give it more to the Android as opposed to the iOS. Now let's talk about ecosystem. For ecosystem, right from the get-go, right from years, right from back in the day, this has always been the winner, but Android is catching up because there is now the Android, or basically the Pixel ecosystem, which is your Google Watch. I'm not sure Google or Pixel is making laptops now. So if you're in the Samsung ecosystem, you can have your Samsung Watch, Samsung Ring, you can have your Samsung laptop. But for your iOS, I will always give it to the iOS because you can integrate, you can even move calls from your phone to your laptop, and from your laptop to your phone. You can also move your calls to your watch. The system, or basically the ecosystem for the iOS, is seamless, is beautiful. But let's say you want to now send files from your Mac to your Android. There are apps that you can use now, right? An example is Local Send or Blip, but these were not introduced back in the day. But right now, you can send things between your Android and your iOS, or basically your Mac. But for ecosystem, I am going to give it to the iOS because it is seamless. From your Mac to your iPad to your phone to your watch, everything is seamless, which is amazing. I hope you'll be able to learn one or two things, and based on your preference, you know which particular operating system you want for yourself. For me, I'm still going to stick with the Android because I get a lot more customization. For example, if I'm playing something let's say I'm playing something on my phone, if I exit the app or if I leave my app floating, it's still going to continue playing. And if I leave my audio on, it is still going to keep playing, right? It is still going to keep playing. The audio is going to continue playing even if I exit it, as long as it's the first app on my phone. But if I'm doing that on my iOS, it is going to stop playing, but on my Android, it is going to keep on playing, which is really nice. So let's say you just going to continue watching like this, it's just going to continue playing. But for my iOS, it's going to pause, which is good and not good depending on your preference, right? But if I go to a particular app, if I go to YouTube, it's going to continue playing. But for this, it's always plays. So let me know in the comment section which you prefer as regards to your operating system. Do you prefer the Android 15 or the iOS 18? I hope you've been able to learn one or two things. And as regards the iOS or the Android system, it boils down to your own preference. For my own preference, I would always go for the Android because I get a lot more customization. If I scroll down, I can always go to my settings directly and set as many things as I want to, depending on my own preference. But for your iOS, there are some things that are preset for you, right? You have it and it has been preset for you. You don't have to think about it as much. But for your Android, you get the opportunity to do as much as you want. So I hope you guys know those two things, and let me know in the comment section which one you prefer. Do you prefer the Android or you prefer the iOS 18? Until next time, guys. Bye.